Aaron coming back to you guys with another live stream this Saturday evening. First and foremost, for those of you that'll be tuning in either live or after the live, goes from a live to a video, and you're wondering who the heck is this guy on your screen. My name is Griffin Thomas, of course. I own a pest control company in the Dallas, Texas area, Preferred Pest Management. We've been in business for going on 4 years now. Crazy to say that, almost half a decade. And on this channel, and just kind of document that overall journey, not just the pest control side, but just the overall business and entrepreneurship side, I guess you could say. And yeah, I do these live streams. I try to pretty much every single week for you guys. We're trying to be more, you know, consistent with that. I guess I would say, do it every week, do it every Saturday specifically, like get the timing and the days and all that stuff down for you guys. And what these live streams are specifically for, just giving you a rundown. The live streams, we have in most cases a theme. Like today we're going to talk about, like you see in the title of the live, just actionable steps, things that you can literally start and do today, tonight with your business, and start seeing results within days, weeks, and months ahead. But then there's also, of course, the Q&A side. That's what I love about these live streams. It's very interactional. Instead of having to look at the comments and then make a video about it, this and that and the other, I can answer your questions live. So of course, if you have any questions or anything throughout the stream, again, the questions don't have to even be on topic or anything like that. But if you have any questions, specifically, business or anything like that, definitely feel free to drop it down in the chat below. And if you are new as well, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that good fun stuff, that way you won't miss any of these future live streams, videos, things of that nature. Like I said, we try to do these live streams every Saturday is the goal. Sunday, I'm trying to start to be better about taking a quote unquote day off, all that good stuff. So Saturday is the day we tend to do these for you guys. But let me see. I want to make sure I have the stream pulled up on my end as well. I want to make sure if we have any chat questions and making sure just the overall stream quality is doing good for you guys real quick before we get going. See, we got Advanced Pest Control in the house. Hey, from the UK. What's up? What's up? Hope you're keeping well. Yeah, hopefully you're good out there across the pond as well. Got the UK in the house this evening. Yeah, and like I said, if you all have any questions, I see we already got about 7 or 8 of you in here currently. Do me a favor too, so more people see the stream. Smash that thumbs up button, hit the little share button, and share it with somebody if you think somebody could benefit from any of these live streams, Q&As, that type of stuff. And yeah, I guess with that, we'll just go ahead and dive right in. A lot of times I'll do these streams either from the phone or from my desktop specifically. Today we're doing it, this vertically format from my phone because I can see the questions nonstop. And one thing I kind of wanted to, going back to last week's stream, just to kind of recap for those of you that may have missed last week's stream. Last week we talked about things that were must-haves when starting a pest control business, and it wasn't everything. It was just things that I have learned specifically, again, in my 3-4 years now of running my own pest control business, that a lot of it I didn't even know existed. I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know anything about VoIP services. I was like, what the hell's a VoIP? I didn't know about CallRail. Didn't even know about GorillaDesk at the time. Well, that's technically a lie. I did know about GorillaDesk from a buddy of mine who also started his own pest control business up north. But, I didn't know a lot about all these different softwares, what Zapier, however it's pronounced. Didn't know anything about that. Just didn't know about all these different tools that can literally help propel our business. So if you didn't see that live stream, I definitely suggest, go check that out either right now if you want, or after tonight's stream if you want kind of a nitty gritty on how to get started, I guess, if that makes sense. Today, we're kind of talking more so, and again, if you have questions about anything, drop it in the chat, but tonight we're talking more so just about different actionable, what I define as actionable steps to grow your pest control company, specifically for those of you that maybe you're having a hard time, maybe you're having a hard time just getting off the ground, getting going. I know out there's some people that I've talked to online that they're just like, man, like I got everything needed. I got my name, I got my DBA, I got my LLC, I got my insurance, got my truck, I got everything ready, but how do I get the phone to start ringing? And that's what we're going to kind of talk about today. I'm going to, kind of more so, kind of like last week's stream, going to kind of list them out more than anything for you guys. But on top of that, we'll kind of dive in, especially when it comes to some of how we like to advertise and things like that, how you can kind of get the best results, at least from my experience with that. So when it comes to, actionable steps to grow your pest control company this year in 2024 and beyond, not just in 2024 really, but and beyond, internet is, avoiding old school techniques to a degree. Now, I always like to preface that with to a degree, because if you have time is your most valuable asset as a business owner, especially as you're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But in the very beginning, you have all the time in the world. So do not discount whenever you hear me say, like, kind of abort those old school methods. Take that part with a grain of salt early on, because early on, when you have all the time in the world, you should be doing all the old school stuff. You should be knocking doors, cold calling, businesses. Better yet, I always say, if you're going to cold call business, go in and shake their hand if you're able to meet like the main boss, the owner of these like smaller businesses, things of that nature. Like, definitely when you're first getting started, go out there and do that stuff. Especially if you're somebody that's kind of more so outgoing. Not gonna lie to you guys, I didn't really do it. I didn't really have to. I was kind of blessed to start my business when Google Local Services first came out, and literally I fired that up, and within like 2 days, I was like, oh my gosh, we got like 2 to 5 calls a day coming in. Like, it was enough to keep me busy from day one, and we just kind of went up from there. But I did do some things like, passing out door hangers, business cards, knocking on the door if no one answered, tag the door, that type of thing, specifically on my weekends when I had some time and my wife was off work as well, because she was still working at the time, helping us, budget and all that stuff. How's it going there, Salvador? Good to see you this evening. So my whole point is when you're very first starting out, if funds are very, very limited, do not be shy about going back to the quote unquote old school methods of knocking on doors, calling people, cold calling, hitting up people on Facebook, even, your buddies, your family, all that type of stuff. Give them some kind of incentive. Don't ask them for business. I never like to really ask family or anything like that for business. What I will do is tell them about my incentive of, hey, by the way, if you run into somebody you think that, they could use my service, I'd appreciate it so much that, I'll give you a little kickback. I'll give you $25, $50, whatever number you want to say, a gift card, whatever the case may be, right? But just go in and, just put in the work early on. And then, of course, once you kind of get past that initial stage, getting off the ground, or maybe you're not even off the ground yet, but maybe you have a little bit more money and technological, brain power to do, what we're going to talk about here. This is where you're going to kind of start to dive more so into the internet marketing side, which internet marketing is a very broad term, by the way. I hate when people say, oh, I specialize in internet marketing. I'm like, no, you don't. Because if you mastered in it, like when people, I'm sure you guys that own your own business, you probably already ran into these people. They'll cold call you, they'll cold email you, like email reach out to you, that type of stuff about, we master in, and they'll just say like internet marketing. I'm like, instant decline, because the moment you hear something like that, red flag, they don't know what the hell they're doing. If they specialize in any type of internet marketing, they are going to proudly say like, oh, we master in Google ads, we master in Facebook ads, and maybe it's both, right? But they would at least narrow it down to what their specific field is. They're not just going to broadly say, oh, we're internet marketing masters or gurus, stuff like that, right? So just a little tip for you guys, as you do start to get a little more known in terms of SEO, where people are finding your website, your email, that type of stuff. But from here, first thing we're gonna want to do, and this even goes hand in hand with when we're knocking on doors and everything. Like, I would describe it as, I always forget we got our little handy whiteboard back here. So let me make sure I got this thing in the video there pretty good. So we got, I'm gonna split it up in terms of like times of the day. Now, obviously, We all got our own shit going on in life. You know your schedule better than anyone. The easiest way I can describe this is daytime, nighttime. Because obviously in the evening, a lot of us got families. We gotta, take the kids to gymnastics. We gotta do dinner. We gotta lay the kids down. Gotta give them a bath. All this BS, right? So I always like to break the day up in between daytime, nighttime. Now, if you're someone that's an early riser, you can, and I had a little season where even I was doing this, you could say early morning, daytime, nighttime, but we're just going to stick with, what we're going to do during the day and then what we're going to do over here at night, right? Almost spelled night wrong. What we're doing at day and what we're doing at night. So during the day, that's when, of course, we're going to be doing, like we said, that basic stuff. This is for those of you that are just getting off the ground and you probably don't have a lot of money. Like we said, we're going to be doing things like door to door, right? Knocking on doors, tagging doors, leaving business cards, whatever material you have, even if it's an old school, trifold pamphlet, whatever the case may be. We're doing some door to door. We're doing, outreach. What is outreach? Outreach, to me, outreach and cold calling isn't really the same. Outreach is like we were talking about whenever you're going to be reaching out to friends and family saying, hey, help a brother out, send some business my way, you help me, I help you. I'll either, if they have a business too, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, I'll send customers your way. Or like we said, if it's just somebody hey, I'll give you a little kickback. I'll give you $25 for anybody that signs up with me, that type of thing. Doing that type of stuff. Next thing we're going to do, of course, is cold call. And of course, it could be cold call, cold email, whatever the case may be at the end of the day. But we're going to go ahead and start cold calling. And right below this, if I were to put like a little subheading here, I would even, like we always talk about with commercial properties, I prefer to actually go in and shake someone's hand. There's something, you cannot be old school, hand to hand, nice to meet you, just showing the confidence that you have. If you can build that connection with them where like you have something in common, start hitting it off about something outside of business, then you can really start to develop a connection there. And then who knows, maybe they don't need your service, but they like you, and then maybe they can introduce you to their network. I've had people plenty of times, invite me to like what is it called, like BNI or BMI, something. There's all these different type of networking groups, and if nothing else, you can go feel it out. Maybe you make one connection. All it takes is one connection. You're always one connection away from moving up to another level in terms of not just like your net worth, but just growing your company in general. Instead of having 2-stop-a-day route, you're one connection away from jumping from 2 to 5 stops a day. Like it's that. When it comes to business connections, I'm learning more and more connections are everything, which for someone like me who is kind of more of an introvert, that in all honesty has been a struggle even for me. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like I always mention, I've never had to do necessarily door to door. I did, like I said, knock on a door. If they didn't answer, I was almost praying they didn't answer. Being an introvert and all, I would tag the door and move on. We did get a couple sales from that. We'll talk about on the nightcap where I was really growing my business outside of all this other stuff we're talking about. But, like we said, going in here, I'll even just make a own heading for it. We'll just say walk in. We're just going to say walk in right there. So like we said, when we say walk in, we're saying literally, go in there, shake somebody's hand. I don't care. Like ideally, would it be like the owner of a business? Sure. But I don't care if it's literally, the person up front, the front desk person at a hotel, or a front desk representative at a car dealer. I mean, most car dealers, I don't know any car dealers that have pest control really. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, I don't care if you're shaking the janitor's hand at the end of the day. As long as you're going in there shaking your hand with somebody, you never know who you're shaking your hand with. As long as they work for that organization, you have a possibility of landing that job. And like we said, if nothing else, landing a connection that can feed more connections, which feeds more money for your business down the road. Advanced Pest Control says Chamber of Commerce. That's another one. And what we're doing right here, when we're talking about what we're doing during the day, I'm talking more so, for the most part, things that don't really cost money. I know Chamber of Commerce, A lot of them, they can be relatively cheap. You know, some are as low as like $100 or so a year. There's some that I know that are like close to 1,000 plus in my area per year. There's one out here in Rockwall, Texas, like 750 a year. To me, the Chamber of Commerce, it definitely feel them out. You know, if you're lucky enough to live in a metroplex like I am, definitely fill out the different. You know, we've got like 20 or 30 different Chamber of Commerces within like a 10-mile radius. You know, go and feel them out. Find one that, you know, you feel most comfortable with. That same thing with BNI, right? There's usually different chapters, I think is what they're called. You know, go and feel out each one before you actually want to make an investment in it. Especially like we said, whenever you're first getting started, you know, you're at that ground level. You probably don't have a lot of money to invest into your brand, into your business, into networking, all that type of stuff. This stuff here that we're talking about, what we're going to do during the day when we're first starting and launching our business, this is what, you know, it's more so sweat equity than actually putting in actual money. Hey, by the way, how do y'all like the new gear that we got here? I just made this logo. You all might have seen it here on YouTube. I forgot I was even wearing this stuff. It's available in my, was it the YouTube shop or whatever, but I thought it was pretty cool. It's more so for my brand, Preferred Pest Management. I hate that, like in pest control, like the only kind of stuff I can have, it has bugs and stuff on it. I was like, let me make like a secondary logo for just like stuff I can wear. And if nothing else, if I'm at the gym or something, conversation piece, right? Someone's like, hey, I think your hat looks pretty cool. Where'd you get it? Oh, it's actually mine. It's, you know, for my company. Oh, what's your company? Boom, there you go, right? Like you never know where you're gonna start a conversation. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if y'all like how it looks and whatnot. I like this athletic feel. This was only like $19 or something on that shop too, so pretty cool. Anyways, back to where we were at here. Like we said, this is kind of all your sweat equity stuff that you can, you know, do during the day, you know, during waking hours, during business hours. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shift over to the nightcap. So, nightcap, this is where the millionaires, the 6, 7, 8+ figure businesses are made. In my opinion, this is what separates, you know, the average, the people that are gonna make a living, right? They're gonna replace their income. They're gonna make 50 to maybe even $150,000 a year. Maybe it's gonna take super long, but maybe this side here is what's really gonna, in my opinion, really catapult you. It's what really catapulted my business. Like I said, I didn't really have to hardly do a whole lot of this. I did do all of it to some degree, but I didn't have to do hardly any of it because of the stuff I was doing on the nightcap, which is where we're getting into more so that quote unquote internet marketing. Like we said, we'll get into it right now. First thing we're going to do, and this first one here, most important, you can do it literally in one day, super quick. We're going to set up all social media, but specifically our GBP. So you're probably wondering, what is GBP? Well, I'm glad you asked. So GBP is short for our Google Business Profile. What is your Google Business Profile? Your Google Business Profile is, you know, whenever you go and you type in online, you know, plumber near me, or, you know, pest control near me, handyman near me, HVAC near me. It doesn't have to be a near me search. You know, it could be HVAC, Dallas, Texas, you know, whatever the search may be. And you have that list. Of course, you have the advertising at the top. And then right below that, you have what's called the Google Map Pack. Google Map Pack is where you can make lots of money for practically free. Of course, you're still going to be over here putting in sweat equity like you're doing with all these day tasks, but with the Google Business Profile, it is what I call an internet asset for your business, because the more you keep adding reviews, adding posts being updates is what they call them on the Google Business Profile, adding photos, adding videos, adding Q&As, you know, just adding and adding to that Google Business Profile. Your what's called local SEO, search engine optimization, your ranking for that listing is going to go up, and not just up in a very small radius. We're talking, of course, when you first start out, say I start my Google Business Profile listing right here where I'm at in Rowlett, Texas. within about a 1 mile radius or less, use about half a mile. To be honest, I'm going to rank number 1 through number 3. You know, I'm going to be in the top 3. Top 3, preferably top 2, is where you want to be all the time. Because if you look at the analytics in terms of studies when it comes to calls, I'm going to pull one up for you all right now. What percentage of call volume goes to the first position company in Google Map Pack? So when we look that up here, let's see, this was May of 2023, so this is pretty free, you know, this was only within the last year roughly. Let's see, I want to give you guys precise numbers. I don't just want to say roughly. So in terms of actual, this is clicks now. So when we're talking clicks, 10% of all clicks go to, you know, the ads at the top. 2% go to the actual map, because when you're actually looking at the map pack, you'll actually see the list of the companies and then the map. So it's saying 2% of people will actually click on the map to see, and this is for all businesses too, and pest control is probably even less, but it says 2% go to the maps. 40% will go to the map pack listing. So almost half of all clicks go to that. 8% of clicks, they will actually hit the view more. So that means, you know, you see the 3 and then it says view more. So we're talking literally 48% are viewing those companies in the map pack. 30% will then look further and actually look at the website, you know, the Google organic. And then 10% will look beyond, you know, second, third page. That's probably all these SEO companies trying to blow us up, right? So you have that too, just to give you guys just a firm foundation on what to expect. Let's see, I was trying to find the actual percentages in terms of who gets what call. Let's see, trying to find this here. I know the rough numbers off the top of my head. The first listing will usually get, you know, 10 out of 10. I think it comes out to like 92% to be exact, of all calls, meaning out of 10 people that see your business being number 1, 9 out of 10 of them are going to at least try to contact you. It doesn't mean they're going to go with you, but that means you're going to get a lead. So from there, you're going to want to do analysis of what is the average search volume for terms like pest control near me, termite control near me, rodent control, exterminator, this and that and the other, using a tool. Well, kind of getting ahead of myself, but using different tools, you primarily want to use the easiest one will be the Google Keyword Planner. That tool's free. You can use SEMrush as well. That tool's very expensive. So you have those two options. I would start with just the Google Keyword Planner tool. That will give you a very good idea. You can literally limit it down to a specific city. So you could say just Rowlett, Texas, which, you know, is a population of like 80,000 people. You could say just Saxe, Texas, which is a population of like 60,000 people. You could say just Wiley, Texas, which, you know, again, you get my point. You can literally limit it down based on where your business profile is located. And then you can see, wow, like there's, you know, 100 people a month, 120 people a month searching for this type of service. If I'm number 1 in that whole city, I'm going to be getting a lot of leads, right? And that's where we have really thrived over our last specifically 2.5, but, you know, for a majority of since we've been in business, but specifically the last 2 years or so, we have really, really thrived on just that free, quote unquote, organic traffic coming in from the Google Business Profile. Like I said, the top, I got to find these numbers for you guys because I want to get, like I said, I know the number 1. So yeah, number 1, here we go. I think we found one right here. Number 1 is 93. I was 1% off. Number 1 is 93% of all calls will go to the number 1. So here we go. So the maps, was it 93? Number 2, no, that's not right either. This is showing now websites too. It's mixing the websites and the website and the Google Map Pack rating. I'm wanting to just see the Google Map Pack. Let's see, maybe my search is wrong. What percentage of call volume goes to the first position? Maybe I should just take the word company out. Sometimes you gotta mess with your search a little bit. What is Google Map Pack ranking? Man, I hate when I cannot find a study for you guys that I literally just read recently. Let's see, 10 steps. No, I don't need that. I know it drops considerably after number 3. So I know for a fact, like we said, number 1 was 92, 93%. The number 2 spot, it was something like 82%. So you were still getting a huge amount of the calls. Number 3, that's where it really starts to drop. It was something like 2/3. It was like 60, 61%. And then number 4, that's where it really drops. It drops down to like 17%. Number 5 drops down to like less than 10%. And, once you get past number 5, it's like, forget about it. Like, you might get 1 out of 100 or less, essentially. So, definitely, like we said, cannot stress enough, get your Google business profile verified, ideally with a specific address. You don't want to have to hide your address. A lot of people will try to tell you that you can get away with doing what they call a service area business. That just it just doesn't. I tried it very briefly just as a test for you guys, and literally the map rankings went to shit. Like literally within the hour of me making the switch. So I switched it back immediately to showing our business address. And I'm actually going to have to go through that whole process of re-verification here within the next month because we're going to be moving out further, into the quote unquote country. Not really. We're in a suburb, but it's a developing suburb. And, I want a business profile location in the city, of course, where we can maximize our lead volume. So I'll be getting an office again for the second time. So I'll have to go through that whole process. I might do a video for you guys on how, you go through that verification process. I will say when it comes to the Google business profile verification, the setup and everything, it can be very, very dicey in terms of Google can be very sensitive sometimes. I know I've heard of people never getting their verification card. Then they had to try to, get a hold of somebody at Google. Well, during COVID, Google decided to start treating businesses like shit. And, you can't call anybody anymore. It's all through email. At least it was as of a year ago when I was last, hearing about it from people. And they can just make it very, very difficult, is my point, to verify your business. So, like I said, I'll probably do some type of video just on like how the verification process works from my experience. However, I've even heard comments from some of you guys in the last couple years of posting content on this subject that, they wanted you to take a video and pictures of like your signage on the door and proof that you have employees like working in that office space and all this crazy stuff. Like, luckily, I've never had to deal with that. Matter of fact, my business profile has been in such good standing overall that whenever we moved from our previous home address to this home address, I didn't have to re-verify anything. I thought for sure they were going to send me a postcard again to re-verify. They literally just changed the address, no verification needed, nothing. I was actually really blown away because I was expecting my profile to be down for about a week or two. But thankfully we've stayed out of Google's radar, I guess, in terms of that. But that's just one thing I have to preface when it comes to setting that up, which is why I say when you're first getting started and you're doing all this shit during the day, I would do this very first when you're setting up your business. Go through, set up all your social medias, but specifically set up the Google business profile first. One, that way, if they're going to be, treat you nice, right, and just send the postcard out, you get that process going because it does usually take about a week roughly for them to send that in the mail. So you'll get that process going immediately. And then while you're waiting on that Google business profile verification to show up, you can be out there doing all your other stuff. And then, of course, all the other stuff we're about to talk about here briefly as well. Let's see. How's it going? Genesis Pest Management said I made it. That's awesome. How's it going, David? Said hi, Griffin. Genesis said, yeah, Google is hard to get a hold of. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. You're okay with customers knowing where you live? Yeah, and in all honesty, that's part of why too. I'm going to be getting an office space as well whenever we move here. It just takes that out of it. But I'm not really worried about it because one, of course, I'm not like screwing anybody or anything, so I don't have to worry about like disgruntled customers or anything like that. I've had like two two or three that I can think of off the top of my head since I've opened my business. And one of them I completely refunded just because I was like, I don't want to deal with this dude. It's not worth I think it was like 250 and change after tax. So I was like, I don't want your money. Like, take your money. I'm never doing business with you again. We're cool. Like, don't worry about it. Because he was like threatening to like, oh, I'm gonna file a complaint. I was like, you can file whatever you want, but I didn't do nothing. Like, I literally told you. It says on the invoice that these natural products only last 2 to 4 weeks, so we need to set you up on a monthly service. You declined, and shocker, 3 weeks later, your ants are coming back. You literally admitted we got rid of the ants using the Entice ant bait, and then we use what was it, Ecovia EC, something like that. It was my first time doing a all natural treatment. Just to give you all some context, got rid of the ants. He had horrible ants, like crazy. And even I was like, oh man, this is like the worst job to be trying these natural products out on. But he even admitted, he was like, yeah, they went away for like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, but now they're coming back. And I was like, dude, this is why I told you we should set you up on a recurring plan. These natural products just do not last very long at all. In all honesty, I'm surprised they even got rid of the issue. And yeah, we went back and forth. He was threatening to, file a complaint like with BBB. This was like about 2 years ago now. And yeah, that was one. The other one I've already talked about on this channel a few times now. But like I said, that first one, I just told him, look, dude, like I knew this was going to be an issue from the start. Here's your money. I don't want your money. Don't want to do business with you ever again. Like just leave me alone. Go bother somebody else. And even he admitted, he was like, well, I can't lie. I'm surprised you're refunding me. I wasn't even expecting that. I was more so just wanting the issue taken care of. And I was like, yeah, and that's what I'm telling you. Like, I'm not going to be able to solve your issue because you're not allowing me to. I told you exactly what we need to do. You just wanted to do the one-time service, and now you're pissed off that after 3 weeks, you're seeing the issue again. Like, I literally told you that there was a high probability this was going to happen. But whole point being, like, I'm not really worried about like people seeing that location because I don't do anything to piss people off at this point, to be completely blunt. I'm doing that more so because of the idiots on the internet. My YouTube channel, TikTok, all this is just starting to get enough traction in terms of like different people starting to see my content that you never know who's seeing your shit at the end of the day. And you guys know that have been following my content for a while now. You guys know that I don't necessarily have the same beliefs as some of the what I like to call sheep out there. And I don't want anybody to f around and find out. Like, I live in Texas. We stay packed. My wife even has her own little pink Glock. Like, I mean, we stay strapped down here, and I don't want to have to do some target practice on anybody. But to help mitigate that, we will be getting an office space and taking, like you said, Karate Chick, just getting that location off the map in general. But no, in terms of my customers, I'm not worried about them. I never have been. Matter of fact, there's dozens of businesses just in my area who, when I pull them up on the map pack, you can even see the outside of their house is, the address they have as well. But yeah, like I need an office anyways, just because we're moving. Like I mentioned, I'm moving out a little bit. I'm moving about 20 minutes to the east, which is still in my service area. Where we're looking is like the Fate, Texas, Royce City. For those of you that know the DFW area, like we said, still in the suburbs, but it's more so still developing out there. Prices are much cheaper. We're gonna save approximately $1,400 a month just in rent. Actually, about $1,300 a month just in rent costs. Not to mention our utility savings. We're gonna end up saving a net of around $1,800 a month by moving. So with that money, I was like, hey, I can definitely afford to pay $300 to $500 a month for an office. It'll give me an office that is kind of in the middle between the furthest point west of my route and my home address. So, with traffic out here, if I have a busy day and I don't want to mess with traffic, I can just go to the office for a bit, maybe shoot a YouTube video for you guys or a live stream or get some work done, whatever the case may be. It'll be nice. I've always been needing an office. I know I've been needing an office for a while now, especially with the fact that we're getting very, 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 very close to just having to hire an employee at this point. That'll give us a good actual a formidable place to meet. Like, hey, meet you at the office, this and that, versus, hey, swing by my house to get the truck, right? It'll be more legit, in my opinion, from that side of it too. So there's a lot of reasons to go back to having an office. A lot of you guys have been following the channel for a while know that I've had an office already, but we're doing that more so for like just advertising purposes to have a second Google Map Pack address, that is. Because, that's what I'm telling you guys. The Google Business Profile ranking, the amount of calls that you can drive from that bad boy, it makes it where it's more beneficial to have addresses all over. Now, I'm not saying go crazy and have an address like every 2 miles or anything, but like if you can have an address, say, on the east side of town, and then on the west side of town, and then maybe the far south and far north, like, just kind of surrounding your entire metroplex. Again, that kind of depends on the size of your service area too. Like I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's a massive area. Like if you're driving from the furthest point west of DFW to the furthest point east, we're talking like Greenville, Texas, out towards like Weatherford, Texas. It's like driving across the entire state of Missouri. So, you're talking massive amounts of just population, first and foremost, but land and mileage as well. Because when it comes to your Google Business Profile, you're only generally going to rank, assuming that there's competition in your area, which obviously with more population, there's going to be more competition as well. For us, we are having trouble breaking out of about a 7-mile radius. I have been top three within about a 6 to 7 mile radius for about a year now. And from time to time, especially with the recent algorithm update, we will break into new areas for certain different times of the day. But generally speaking, you're only going to rank very good within about a 5 to 10 mile radius around that address. So you live in a big area, like I was mentioning, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, wouldn't be a bad idea to have a East DFW branch, North DFW branch, let's say like McKinney or something. Terminix did that. They had one in McKinney, Plano, Mesquite, Dallas. They have a Richardson commercial location. I believe there's one towards South Dallas, if I recall too. Like they did it kind of perfectly. And once I started my own business, I kind of seen why they did it that way. But it all depends on your area. Like I said, if you're in an area that's a little bit more rural, there's not a lot of competition, you can dominate clear, 20, I've heard some people even 25 to 30 miles outside of that location. So that all depends. But going back to just, the importance of the Google Business Profile, where I am located right now, we are getting anywhere between, at the minimum, about 15 leads a month for free. To as many as like almost 60. I believe we had 1 month last summer where we had like 52 calls, I want to say, and it showed website clicks, which obviously website clicks don't always turn into leads. But if I go back and look at the form data in terms of like forms submitted, just from that alone, along with calls from the actual Google Business Profile listing, phone number, not even mentioning the website phone call data, because of course that could come from just general website SEO, right? So just factoring in forms submitted that came from the Google Business Profile, using CallRail to track that, along with calls from the Google Business Profile phone number, again from CallRail tracking that. That month ended up with close to like 60 leads that month. It was like, I forget which month it was last year. It was like June, I believe. maybe May. It was like May or June of last year. So just imagine you pay, we'll call it $400 a month for basic office, right? Size of this room that I'm in right here was the size of my first office that I purchased for 1 year. Say you get that office $400 a month, right? And that office, after 1 year, obviously when you first start that location, like I always say, you're not going to reach anybody. It's going to take, best case scenario, 3 to 6 months for you to start really starting to notice some reach. That's with generating reviews on a daily and weekly basis. You're doing the updates, you're doing the photos, like you're doing everything you need to do. Within 3 to 6 months, you're going to start noticing calls rolling in. But say after, you get to that 1 year and you're going into year two of operating out of that office, you're paying your $400 a month and you're generating, let's just say, 20 leads a month, 30 leads a month, or like we said, 50 leads a month. Again, it all comes down to cost, right? If you're paying $400 a month, let's say you're getting 40 leads a month, that's $10 a lead. So that's where you got to do the cost analysis of, again, like we're talking about, figure out what's the population of homeowners specifically, not just population in general, what's the population of homeowners within about a 5 to 10 mile radius of an office that you're considering renting or buying, if you have the money to buy. And then take a look at what that payment's going to be, what you expect your overall leads coming in month to month to be. Again, don't think up front, start thinking after about 6 months onward how many leads you expect to start coming in from that. And then from there, just determine, how much am I willing to pay per lead? Because obviously, if you're going to say Google Ads and you're paying $100 or so per lead, why would there be a problem? Why would you have a problem paying $10 a lead with your Google Business Profile location, right? So that alone is why I stress so much on this channel. Get the Google Business Profile right. Let's see. Get the likes up, folks. I was not notified this was, oh man, that sucks. Yeah, do me a favor. If y'all are enjoying the stream, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. Yeah, you're right, Genesis. We only got 2 likes so far. I seen we had like 8 of y'all in here at one point. Yeah, do me a favor. If you're enjoying the stream, smash that thumbs up button. Lets me know, first and foremost, that y'all appreciate, what we're talking about. If I notice people are dropping out, then I know, okay, maybe time to move on to the next subject. If I see, the thumbs up and the little 100s and all that coming in, then I know y'all are liking and resonating with what we're talking about. Appreciate you mentioning that too, Genesis, Pest Management. Let's see. Advanced Pest Control says, I think it's good for people to know where you live, being part of the community that people can rely on. Yeah, there is that aspect of it too. You're definitely spot on with that. Advance, you're very, very spot on with that in terms of it builds trust, right? When they see that, oh man, that's that dude's house. Like, yeah, no. And like I said, when it comes to my customers, I was never really concerned with it. Like I said, it's just part of the game of whenever you start doing a lot of like social media stuff, like I've been doing the last year or so. You just never know with people out there, right? Target practice. Yeah, I forgot I said that. Yeah, hopefully YouTube doesn't shut me down for that. Yeah, no, that's funny. I have a UPS box. Eric said, you talking about for like your Google Business Profile address? If so, be very, 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 very careful with that. Very likely to get shut down, or at least suspended. Once you would change the address and whatnot, they'd have it back up. But you're technically not supposed to use any like lock boxes. What are those other things called? Like post PO boxes, I think is what they're called. You're technically not supposed to use any of those. For the most part, they actually catch it and will reject it before you even try. So I'm surprised if you have a UPS box, if they approve that. I was going DNB189. I feel like I remember you. I feel like you were in our chat a while back. It may have been a year or so now, but I feel like I remember you tuning into some of our streams in the past. Nice to see you again this evening. But yeah, as we continue to just talk about just like actionable steps that you can take to, grow your pest control business this year. Like we talked about during the day, of course, This is more so talking to the people who maybe don't have a lot of money to actually launch their business. I know that's a lot of you all. A lot of you all come from a similar background as me, where like you got very little money to kind of get started. These are actionable steps you can take during the day that don't cost you anything other than time. And then, of course, as your business grows and time is more of the essence, you're going to transition more into this category of things we're going to be doing during the night hours, which, like we said, we already talked about for extensively now. The importance of the Google Business Profile and how that can generate dozens of leads for you every single month at no cost, other than, of course, like we said, if you're going to purchase an office or something like that. Next thing you're going to want to focus on, of course, is Google LSAGL. Some people will just say LSA. I always like to put the G there just so people understand what I'm talking about. Google Local Service Ads. Google Local Service Ads, of course, we've talked about them extensively on this channel. If you didn't see my video, actually, that I posted, about 6 to 12 months ago, I spent $10,000 on Google Local Service Ads, so you didn't have to. Here's my results. Definitely go check that out. I forget which playlist it's in. I want to say it's in the, Start and Grow Your Pest Control Business playlist, if I recall. But you'll definitely check that out. It's pretty short, straight to the point, and I just detail how Google Local Service Ads worked for us. But specifically, this is very good for those of you that are just starting out with a new business, because Google is always looking to add more and more businesses to that list. So then that way they can continue to drive their price up and up and up and up and up. Matter of fact, I just got a bed bug lead, my first lead from local service ads in like 6 months at least, and it was a $99.52 lead, and I didn't even answer the phone. I thought it was a scam call, to be honest, so I didn't answer because of the number. I disputed it, got my money back instantly from it, but yeah, it just goes to show. When I first started with Google Local Service Ads, they were literally like freaking 15, 20. I remember when it went over $30, I about had an aneurysm. I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. $30 a lead. And now when I look at it, I'm like, please give me a $30 lead. Give me some. You got any more of those $30 leads, right? But whenever you're brand new, they will give you that very, very, very cheap pricing. That way, you kind of get hooked on it. You're like, man, this is awesome. $20, $30 leads, and I'm closing 50, 60% of them, right? It's a very, very good. I always say I compare it to like a wet rag. Go ahead and just drain the shit out of it. Go ahead, get all the leads you can out of it, because one day that will stop. At least, again, this is from my experience, and not just my experience, other business owners out there, not even just in our industry either, but service industry, that is, in general. People had that same issue. So definitely, prolong it the longest you can. Get your reviews, answer the phone every time possible, all of that stuff, to stay in like good standing with the LSA program. And I mean, you can get a lot of leads. I credit this to getting my business off the ground. I credit this for the continual growth of my business. And the next one that we're going to talk about, of course, is obviously Google Ads, which that is going to actually grow your business. I want to say parabolically, but it's going to take what you're getting from your Google Business Profile, whatever little bit you're getting from like LSA and all these other programs. This is just going to, just take it to that next level, because of course you're literally, man, we just had like everybody drop off. You're taking all that money now and just dumping that into Google Ads, feed the beast like we always talk about, and that's gonna, it speaks for itself, right? Let me see, make sure I didn't miss anybody's stuff here. DMB189 says, been a few months, work been keeping me busy. Ain't been on. I feel that, man. Hey, it's like I always say, right? When my customers, I'll miss a couple of them from time to time when they text me, and I'll be like, shoot, hey, I'm sorry, it's been a couple days. I've just been busy. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, it's great that you're busy, right? And I'm like, yeah, no, this is better than the alternative at the end of the day. So I feel you there. Eric says, UPS gives you an actual address. Been almost 5 years, mainly for receiving checks. That's interesting. The whole actual address thing. I'll have to kind of look into that sometime this evening. Like I said, I personally need an office space anyways, just because I need that actual office to work out of and things of that nature too. But yeah, I mean, if you're kind of in that early phase, like I was in just a year or two ago, whenever I was wanting another location and things like that, and you can get away with doing something like the UPS deal, or another thing that people do is virtual offices as well. Main thing when it comes to the virtual offices is confirm with them that, hey, this is what I need. I need to be able to list my address on Google Maps. Am I able to verify this location? They'll know exactly what you're talking about. If they act stupid, move on to the next one because they're playing dumb. But yeah, those two options work great for people that don't necessarily need a office, but they need that location, right? Advance says, I didn't know about Google local service ads until you did a video about it. It gave me a good wasp season last year. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, that's funny you say that. I remember I did get a lot of wasp calls from Google LSA as well. And I'm interested to know if you're still in here, Advanced Pest Control. How much were you paying for? Um, how much were you paying per lead for those guys? DMB189 says, I got certified for Google profiles. Good. Still have about 5 years before I retire from the Army and can start my pest business. That's right. That's right. I remember you were like in the military. Super easy class and teaches you a lot about building your Google business profile. Right on. Let's see. Yeah, I feel I need an office space soon, more space. Yeah, I'm actually, man, I'm to the point where I'm not only getting an office space, but I'm also getting a storage unit as well, just for like all my exclusion shit, my ladders, all my tools. Like, man, like it's literally taking up. We have a 2-car garage and it's taking up literally an entire side at this point. And we even have a shed in the backyard and it's taking up like half the shed too. It's not just the exclusion stuff, it's also like Trelona stations, rodent stations, like just a lot of that bulky stuff, right? I'm getting to the point now where, ideally, if I can find an office that's kind of like I don't want to say a warehouse, but like an office with like a garage attachment or something like that, that would be super ideal. Unfortunately, they seem to be very expensive down here. They seem to be like minimum 1,000 plus a month, where I can rent a small office space and then also get a storage unit, all in all for about $400 to $600 a month. So, you know, when you're a small business owner, you got to kind of do what you got to do. It's like I always talk about, it's all phases out here. We have phases where, we can't afford any of that. Then we bump up a phase to where, okay, now we can start doing some of this, we can do that, we can do that. And it's very easy a lot of times to try to, take a step up to that next phase before you're actually ready. And then it reminds you real quick, you ain't ready. Knock you back down a level, but I guess that's the better term, actually, levels, not phases. You'll get knocked back down to where you belong for a little bit, and you just keep chugging at the end of the day. It reminds me of that stock chart, right, where you're sitting here looking at it, and you start down here, and then you get to taking some steps up, and then you have something, you think, oh, I'm ready to go up here, and then it's like, nope, you're ready to go down here. Now you're not just going down, you're going down past where you were, and then, oh, okay, now I kind of figured that out. Oh, let me try to go up again. Nope, now you come down. Like, you're just constantly like going up, and then you try to overextend, and then boop, you get knocked down briefly. Story of my life as a business owner. We're kind of like right in this stage right now. Like, we just kind of recovered where we were, and now we're starting to kind of go back up in the positive direction finally, after a horrible mistake of moving to a house that costs like $3,300 a month. Let's see. Google LSA 5, was that euros per lead? I'm trying to think. So I know euros and dollars, they're relatively close. Assuming that's a euro. I'm not good with currencies. But pretty much it sounds like anywhere between $4 to $7 US per lead, which is ridiculous. Oh, pounds. That's right, pounds. British pound, right? Um, which if I remember right, let me look that up actually. British pound to US dollar. I don't even know what it's sitting at lately. I used to keep up with all that stuff when I would trade stocks. I'd love to get back into that at some point. Damn, it's $1.26 now. Let me look at the 5 year. I don't remember. Has it always been that high? Oh, that's because back in 2022 it dropped all the way down to 1.08. That's right. That's right. So it recovered. That's what it is. So about $1.25. So if it's $5, 5 pounds, so that'd be what, about 7.20. Bro, that is cheap. 7.25 a lead. Man, I never had leads that cheap. Even when I first started my Google local service campaign with them, my cheapest I want to say was like $10 to $15. Which don't get me wrong, I'll take a $10 to $15 lead all day long. But man, like I said, just keep taking it. Just take that wet rag and just squeeze that bitch. Just take every last lead you can out of that because man. That is cheap. Eric said, any advice on how to, let's see, search for office space? So, yeah, I mean, of course, just traditional Google search is where I started. You know, I typed in like commercial office space, small commercial office space, things like that. I will use LoopNet a lot of times. Actually, LoopNet is kind of the main one that I'll use. And then from there, if I find like a specific company that tends to own a bunch of offices across the US, then I'll kind of like go to their website and see, you know, do they have any other ones in my area that maybe aren't on LoopNet, things of that nature. But definitely in terms of like one specific website, I would look at, I would start in LoopNet for sure. There's another one, as a matter of fact. Let me do this. Office space for rent is another search term that I'll use. Um, like one company around here is Regus. They're a company that a lot of people use in my area right now. But again, like if you just type in one of these bland search terms, I don't know why the camera's shaking so much, by the way. If you just type in like office space for rent, office space near me, something like that, usually there will already be some companies bidding for that on the Google Ads side. So that'll give you an idea of some of those businesses first and foremost in your area. But then also there's like Property Shark, LoopNet, like we mentioned, Spaceworks. What else is there? Commercial Cafe. Those are kind of the main ones. OfficeSpace.com is sometimes good. Yeah, those are kind of the main ones. But LoopNet is pretty much where I always kind of get started. And then from there, I usually kind of branch out from there, if that makes sense. Let me see. I wanted to hit on Google Ads just a little bit real quick. Before we get on with the rest of the stream. Google Ads, like we said, I've had plenty of videos, of course, on Google Ads. I try to keep you guys updated. Matter of fact, I need to do like another update just on Google Ads because we got, I believe, knock on wood, I got our form and call tracking kind of figured out with CallRail and Google Ads. It seems like that is now working again, knock on wood. But I need to do an update video for you guys because we just recently went from our winter campaign to our spring campaign. And now that's kind of in the full swing of things. So need to do an update video for you guys about that. But again, with Google Ads, you know, we're going just one by one in terms of where you should start, where you're going to finish. I guess if I were to also, speaking of just like organic stuff, if I were to do a little branch off here, I would also say, you know, of course, you know, your website. Ooh, handwriting looking bad. Website SEO. Some people call this like on-page SEO. You know, focusing on publishing articles, making sure you have good link building, all that type of stuff that will help as well. In all honesty, we could do a lot better on it. I plan on just eventually hiring it out to somebody. That way we can constantly show up on page one. We will show up on page one, but it's not consistent or anything like that. So this is something where, again, you want to work at it, but chances are, unless if you come from a, what do they call those, like web designer and SEO, unless if you come from that type of background, you're going to find it very difficult. This is easy, but this is pretty difficult to rank in. But I did at least want to mention that before we ended the stream, that of course you always want to be working on improving your website, improving, the internals of it, just doing everything you can. And then once you get it to as far as you can get it, hopefully all these other things that you're going to be doing are growing your business enough to where you can, just hire, outsource that, hire someone to kind of run that end of it for you. Same can kind of be said though for Google Ads. I know Google Ads can be very, 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 very complicated. Even me to this day, I'm still learning like little nuances to it here and there. But I have found it out. I have figured it out to the point where it is generating leads for us and things of that nature. And that's, kind of, if you can perfect that game, regardless if it's hiring someone for it, outsourcing that, or figuring it out in-house, all of these combined, you won't even have to worry about doing any of this shit. I mean, you can, like we said, you see the big companies every year, they're hiring door knocking companies every single year to go out and still door knock for them. So, you can do all this still. But in my opinion, all these here, specifically this and your website, you're building online assets that, are just going to continue to produce leads, and it'll just become a cash cow for you. Not to mention, it's actually been shown now that the better this is set up, and the better that this is set up, can actually add some values. It can add to your evaluation when it's time to go sell. So definitely some things to keep in mind. Like I said, this is kind of, if I said day and night, but more so specifically, it's like what takes time and money, what takes just time, right? None of this really costs any money, really. It's just more so sweat equity. This over here, it's going to take both time and money, resources, things of that nature. You learning some things, right? Which is why I try to post as much of this content on here for free for you guys as possible. Like I said, I just try to document everything in my journey, things that kind of work for me, things that even don't work for me, because you notice I didn't put Facebook ads up here. Facebook ads just haven't really ever produced for us. Now, I know there are some people out there that swear by Facebook ads. They're far and few in between, I'll say that. But there are some people out there that swear by Facebook ads. I have never had success with them. I've probably spent at least $2,000 at this point on Facebook ads since we started the business, not like per month or anything. But since we started the business, a couple G's on it, and like I said, we've gotten plenty of leads, but the leads are never ever qualified, regardless of what we did to it. So, and that's even with hiring a outside agency to, manage it for us for about 3 months on top of that too. So, yeah, no, Facebook ads just really wasn't, I feel like there are certain industries that it works great for. I think lawn care is great for. I think pressure washing, all that type of stuff. Things where you can use like visual, more so visual. I noticed whenever I was very, very visual with my ad copy on Facebook, that was what got us the most leads. But like I said, a lot of those leads, they just were not qualified at the end of the day. So, I think everything we talked about here, is pretty sufficient overall. Things that you all even brought up in the chat was more the same as well. So in the USA, are you more insects rather than rodents? UK, we are rodents all year round with added insects during summer. I think the US is so big that it depends on location even within the US. I know where I came from in the Midwest, it's kind of similar. Rodents are kind of an all year round type of thing, field mice, things of that nature. And then insects don't really start until like April, May, and then they run through, what about maybe August, September, roughly, depending on how quick it cools off. Down here in Texas in the southern U.S., though, insects are pretty much all year round. Rodents, to a large degree, are pretty much all year round. You know, the only thing that's not all year round is like termite swarmers, mosquitoes, things of that nature. But in large, you know, a lot of the activity is virtually all year round. So, yeah, no, I think on that note, we're probably, gonna go ahead and start wrapping up. I know we've already been on here for about, what, an hour and change. As always, I hope you guys did take some valuable information from tonight's stream. If you did, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. Like I said, it lets me know that you guys appreciate the content, and helps other people discover the content. If you're not already subscribed as well, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell icon and all that good stuff. That way you won't be notified, or that way you won't miss any of our future live streams or videos, anything like that. Like I mentioned, we try to do these live streams pretty much like clockwork every Saturday. I'm trying to get better about making sure that we, at least stick with the same day. Of course, scheduling permitting, right? Life happens. Sometimes I just have to move it around, right? But I'm trying to be more consistent with that. And I'm going to try to get another video out for you guys this week. I'm hoping by probably Wednesday again. That's another thing I'm trying to be more consistent with, is like when I'm actually uploading videos for you guys. Shorts are, totally different thing. Like, to me, the shorts, I just kind of post those whenever I got time to do so. You guys might have seen a short that I did just yesterday. Might ruffle some feathers even with that short, but it is what it is. It speaks for itself, in my opinion. But like I said, I'm trying to be more consistent on the upload side specifically. And then with these streams, we're trying to be super consistent about doing those once a week for you guys. Usually, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the latest. So if you're not already subscribed, hit that down below. I appreciate you all. Advance says, thanks, Griffin. Take care. Yeah, no, I appreciate you tuning in again as well. If you're not in our Discord group and Facebook group, by the way, any links that I ever mentioned are in my link tree, which is in the description box of all of my videos, the live streams, all that good stuff. We have over 120 people in our Facebook group. We've got like over 300 or something like that now on Discord as well. So if you want to communicate with a bunch of like-minded people looking to grow their pest control business this year, go ahead and hop over there as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream.